you were very famous in bureaucracy. You had one very admirable work. You were the best collector 3 times. And at a point of time, Times India magazine captured you as one of the top and influential leaders in the country, in the world. And being the Commissioner of Delhi Development Authority, your massive drive of demolition made you to call as a demolition man. But what was your major actions being a politician?
And now you see, I had fantastic headlines, and I think I used to be on the front page of most of the newspapers almost every day. Times did a poll on me, and I had 89.6% of Delhiites supporting me. Of course, I was in Time magazine's list of 100 young global leaders in 1994. But of course, now I'm not very popular anymore because I'm in the BJP. See, this whole thing becomes such nasty politics. Just because I joined the BJP, and because 85% of people of Kerala, it's not really that they don't support the BJP, they are horribly opposed to BJP. They write crazy things, they write atrocious things. I mean, they write so much of hate mail just because I joined the political party. Why did I join politics? Simple. After 27 years, I was a Land Revenue Commissioner finally, and I said I've spent so much of my life here, and I was 52. I said now what I was doing is basically implementing whatever is decided by the government. I mean, you are an executor of government policy as an I.A.S. officer. But I said, why not be the decision maker? Because the decisions are made by the politician, isn't it? So one fine morning, I was taking a ride with my cousin, Noble Matthew, from Cochin to Kanjirappally, my village, and then he told me on the way, elections are just another month and a half. Why don't you quit and join contest from Kanjirappally, your home constituency? I said, don't be crazy. I mean, I'll become chief secretary someday. I have a comfortable job. I'm happy in the bureaucracy. Why should I join politics? Anyway, before I reached Kanjirappally, before he got down, he had convinced me that I should contest. So I put in my resignation, which was a huge shock. The day, a huge shock to everybody because nobody knew. I mean, not even my mother. She learned from television, and I contested as an independent from Kanjirappally with support from the left, and I won on 32nd day with a huge majority.
Lo and behold, your decision to choose politics as your career and to fight in a member of Legislative Assembly election was very interesting to us. But your election campaign and mode of spending was very different. I came to know that you found all the funds from your own pension fund or your personal income. And how did you campaign? How did you manage all the things? Probably as an independent candidate. That's very interesting to know.
Yeah, so independence winning in Kerala is very unusual, almost impossible. See, I had the advantage. I was a district collector here. I'm from their home. I spent total money spent, including the money spent on my wife on her transport, was less than 9 lakhs. We didn't pay 1 rupee to anybody. Not 1 rupee, not one drop of liquor, no benefit, no. I said, you know me. I do things. So vote for me. So that's how they voted. It's possible to win elections. If you have done a good job, you can. But then you can ask me, how do you lose as a BJP candidate? See, if you put me in your constituency, which is not mine, where people don't know me, in a completely strange constituency, with completely, totally different political color, like Cochin where I contested, it always has elected a Latin Christian. And if you have a Latin Christian, it's traditionally always been their seat. They have always won. Why should they give up their community seat for me? So they wouldn't vote. See, I mean, I could have possibly won from my home constituency easily, Pathanamthitta. That's because Kanjirappally constituency was part of Pathanamthitta. I could possibly have won from Kottayam. Then I could have won, possibly had a good chance from at least 3-4 other constituencies. I didn't get any of that. So again, the constituency you contest is important. I mean, it should be a place where people know you, know your work, and then they should not have a natural reason like what I mentioned in Cochin to be hostile to you, isn't it?
And I know you were a very successful MLA as well. what was your experience being an MLA? What were the challenges and how did you manage those challenges?
So I won, then I said I'm going to be a different kind of an MLA, because what MLAs today do in Kerala is do two things. They have a bunch of wedding invitations and they take the obituary, from the newspaper, and it's a journey from morning till evening. Marriage, funeral, this is what they do. At the end of the day, their pictures will be in at least in 50 albums, and they are very happy. Very happy. People are very happy. MLA was here. Yeah. I said, I'm not going to be a marriage funeral MLA. I said, if there is an accidental death and if I'm here, I'll come. Otherwise, no. So I didn't go to any marriages. Didn't go to most funerals unless it was, of course, an accidental death. Yeah. In the first week, people protested when I announced, I'm not going to do this. They said, what kind of a politician are you? Don't you want to win elections? But after 3 months, people said, sir, you don't have to come. You do keep doing what you're doing. You know what was I doing? I stayed in a tiny little room in Kanjirappally in the guest house. Kanjirappally guest house is tiny little rooms. I was driving my own car. I didn't have a driver. We used to have breakfast start at 6 o'clock in the morning in a restaurant where I said people can come and meet me there, and I would give them a coffee. Then I would be going to a pre-selected panchayat with the panchayat president and all the members in my Scorpio. So it's all pre-selected. It was announced earlier to the people through newspapers, I'm coming to your panchayat. Today here, tomorrow there. So people are waiting for us. We would spend the whole day in that panchayat, driving around, talking to people. I make extensive note. In the evening, there was a program where I said, anybody who is interested, come there. We are going to have a final wind-up meeting. So we said, these are the 50 ideas which came up, your requirement. What are the 3 things which are most important for you? So we would shortlist onto that. And then my job was to make the project report. Of course, government departments are there to do that, but I asked them to do that, chase the money, which was my job. I brought 350 crores into my constituency. It's not only that we got the money. Take, for example, Kanjirappally civil station. Something which was supposed to be finished, I think, in 3 years, over 3 years. It's a beautiful building. We finished it in slightly over a year.
Yes, I know you publicly exhibited the deadlines of your projects. Like if you are going to complete a project in 400 days or 100 days, you will exhibit it very publicly and put a kind of continuous follow-up. That's great to know.
Yeah, and all my bridges were completed in 100 days. How do we do this? I sit down with the engineers and the contractors and do a reverse engineering. Like Kanjirappally civil station is supposed to be finished over 3 years. We sit down with them and do a reverse engineering, digging the foundation, putting up the pillars, first floor, second floor, blah, 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 and the final finishes. And we decided we can finish it in just in a year. Same with every bridges. And there used to be a countdown board in every work saying this work will be completed in how many days. So it starts with 100 maybe. Next day, the contractor has to make sure it is 99, 98. If there is any day when they don't do this updating, I'll get a call from the locality saying, sir, today they didn't change the board. So this was the involvement of people. See, just that simple board there saying this will be inaugurated in another 96 days, 95 days, 94 days. There was involvement of people. It's not like government contracts wherein if you have to finish in 3 years, it takes 5 years, 6 years, sometimes never. A bridge takes years together. You don't need to do that. So it's not only that you got the money, you also got things done so fast. So, in fact, the finance minister mentioned me in his budget speech as an example of how MLAs can work with the limited funds and get things done.
That is interesting to know to all the people.
So, then I finished 4.5 years, and then election came, and mine was the first name to be announced on the first day by the left liaison committee because I was supporting the left. And it was their seat actually, Marxist. So my name was announced on the first day, and in the evening I had a press conference afternoon saying, sorry, I'm not contesting. And I said, I'm joining the BJP because I want Narendra Modi to become the Prime Minister. Why? Because here was a man who was doing things in Gujarat. And I said, the same thing needs to be replicated all over India. I said, I'm quitting because I want food on the table of the poor people. I want every child to go to school. And I want people to have a respectable life, and only Modi can do it. So Pinarayi Vijayan also told me, Alphonse, please don't go. If you don't go, you can choose any portfolio you want in the next cabinet. I said, sir, I'm going not because I'm not happy with you. I'm going because there are a lot of people starving in India. They need food, and I can I can contribute towards that. And then he said, okay, fine, if that's the case, go. So I'm possibly the only one with whom the masses still have a very good relationship, even after leaving them. Get me? I was not a member of the party, but I was supporting them. So I still have a good relationship with people. In politics, I don't see why we should have enmity with your opponents. I mean, they are your opponents, fine, but we can deal with them with dignity, and we can have a good relationship. We can work together for common causes. There's no reason why we should be at each other's throat at all the time. No, I don't believe in that kind of politics. So I joined the BJP, moved to Delhi, and I worked in the party for close to 7 years. And then one fine morning, I get a call when I was traveling in Bangalore and towards. I landed in Bangalore, was about to catch a flight. I got a call from the Prime Minister's office saying, "Come back to Delhi today itself." When I came back, the Prime Minister called me and said, "Take oath as a minister tomorrow."
There are a lot of people there really want to join politics, especially to the leadership level, like MLA or MP. What they should do? What are the pathways you are suggesting? What is your view on that?
See, what is happening today is most people who are entering politics today, first thing they do is, even when they are in college, get into a khadi shirt and in Kerala, white dhoti. You are a politician and you shout slogans and you have hartas and bandh, and then you naturally, after college, you have nothing else to do. So obviously you are a politician. Where is their track record? What have they done with their lives for people to elect you? If people ask you, fine, you've been shouting slogans, you've been wearing a khadi shirt, but what have you done for people? Do they have a reply? Why don't people ask them? You are now 30, 35, what have you done? How are you surviving? How do you earn your food? How do you manage to travel in a car? I think most of these people are just leeches. They suck the blood of the society. Because without employment, without working, without earning your bread, how are you being a politician? Isn't it? I mean, that means you are surviving. You're getting kickbacks for works done. I mean, that is a whole institution process. I keep telling people wherever I go. I said, no, politics. Don't get into politics straight away. Go, do something. Be innovative. Create something. Create wealth. Create jobs. Go, work among the poor. Earn your bread. And then come back to people and say, why, look here, I'm 35. Look at my track record. This is what I did for the country, for the poor. This is what I did to create employment, jobs. Vote for me. How many people, how many politicians entering politics have that track record? Very, very few. 1 in 1,000, not even 1 in 100. So your politics has to change dramatically. I do not want young people to come straight away into politics and say, well, elect me for what? What have you done? Shouted slogans? Beat up cops? Sorry, no. Go, work. Do any of these things. Even creating wealth is not a bad idea, because creation of wealth creates jobs. It creates money for the country, isn't it? Yes or no? So do something. Go work in an NGO. Go be a teacher. Run a shop, run an establishment where you will create wealth for the country, provide jobs to people. There are a million things you can do creatively. Go plant trees. Yeah. All these things do, and then prepare a profile and say, well, this is what I have done. I'm 30, I'm 35, I'm 40, this is what I have done. So that's the kind of people. Even bureaucrats, I keep telling them, it's a very good option for you because you have such great opportunities, I.A.S. officers. After being a collector, if you don't get elected from your district, then I think you're a failure as a collector. You know, because if you do a good job, people will love you. They will vote for you. Yeah. So even bureaucrats, I keep telling them, don't spend all your life in a bureaucracy because you live only once. Experiment with things. What if you lose? Well, if you lose, well, you are in the I.A.S. for X number of years. You would have learned enough of skills to more than survive. Go and make your millions in private sector. Start your own enterprise. Yeah, there's so much possibility.
And many people say that politics is dirty, integrity and trustfulness or truth is not practical in politics. There are a lot of ethical dilemmas. What do you say? Have you experienced any kind of ethical dilemmas and how did you face that?
No, not really. I never had ethical dilemmas. Nobody's ever offered me a bribe. So I can't even proudly say that I have refused a bribe. I don't think anybody dares to offer me a bribe.
So you are saying that you hadn't have any kind of such bad experiences or ethical dilemma experiences in your personal political life?
No. I had one experience of not bribe, like this is one of my last jobs when I was Entrance Commissioner of Kerala. It's the only instance of political interference with my job. The minister called me. I was the commissioner for entrance examination. Generally, the results are published after 2.5 months, 3 months. We published the result on the 7th day. How do we do that? Well, it's possible. Yeah, that's why I said you got to be creative, innovative. People think it's all miracles. These are not miracles. These are all easy things to do. The minister called me to his chamber, and there is a antechamber, it's a back room beyond the office where all these private deals are done. So he calls me to the office, and there was this long-haired mullah waiting there. And he said his relative, some guy, he's done the entrance examination. He's not going to getting into a medical college because his rank is not good enough. But if he changes income, he becomes a poor person from that community, and he will walk straight into a medical college because there is a reservation for the economically weaker sections in the medical college. I said, sorry, no, this is criminal. I mean, this is a basic document on which you marks your incomes correctly, and if I allow that, it's a criminal thing. I walked out. Next morning, I was transferred from that job. Made land use commissioner, but there was no job at all. And that's where I had the satisfaction of being for 4 years. I became the voice of environment. I think it's one of the best jobs I loved. So it's a tiny little room, smaller than my toilet, that entire office, with very few people, 10, 15 people only. That's one of the jobs where I think I had the biggest impact.